Yo, what's up? We live?
Truthseeker and/or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and/or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the Truth Seeker podcast.
Gargoyles! Psychics! Everything's ungodly! Dark Savage!
Streaming live at truthseeker.com.
She's not a Christian!
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark sided stuff!
And now, your host, Truth Seeker.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, your host, Truth Seeker. We're back with another exciting episode of the Truth Seeker podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us live tonight, everybody who's holding us down in the chat room over at YouTube. That's where we stream these live. So then we send them out there to the podcast land on all the beautiful podcasting apps where you guys are joining us. Thank you guys so much for holding me down for real, because the numbers are going crazy right now. I don't know what's going on. Whatever we're doing, it's working. It's resonating with you guys, are letting me know through messages and all of these other things that you guys are resonating with the work. And it's just so beautiful that I'm able to be a part of it and to share the message that I've been given, and just simply share the things that have been working for me throughout the years as we continue to explore the realms unknown and talk about our encounters and beliefs and not be afraid to do that, to do it freely, no matter of race or creed, or we don't have any judgments, or nobody has to be right. Nobody has all the answers, but I think we all have a piece of the puzzle. And so what this show essentially does is we all take our pieces and we put them together. We join them together to see if we can make a picture. And usually we have a beautiful mosaic in the end. And so everybody has a place, everybody has a purpose, everybody has a calling. And so essentially what we're doing is we're just trying to identify with that. And so like attracts like, and the more that you just show up and be authentic to who you really are, the things that you like, and know it's okay to be yourself, that's when we have all things in common and we just begin to flourish. There's no like I said, there's no one person who has it all figured out, and I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe or any of the guests. I don't believe everything that they talk about, right? But I do appreciate them, and it really shows a bigger part of the picture. Even in some of the smallest aspects, where we talk about Jordan Maxwell being on here and him sharing his wealth of knowledge and info that he has. It may just be one thing that sticks out on that interview that actually resonates with you and helps you to take your step, your spiritual walk a step further, or your walk with God a step further. Michael Heiser, all of these guys who essentially, when we was talking about spirituality and spiritual subjects, is saying a lot of the same things. And as I go back and look at many of the episodes, I just see how even all the other episodes fit together, and all things work together for those who love God, who love the Father, and we're all expressions of that love. I want to say a quick thank you to everybody still supporting over at Patreon. Everybody who believes in the vision, who has joined with the vision that we're doing here, interviewing awesome people, sharing knowledge, info, wisdom, information, music, creativity, art. Everybody supporting at patreon.com/truthseeker. You guys are really the oil behind the machine, because you guys are helping me to create this stuff and to keep it free. It's free to consume, and we don't charge. I used to have a membership where I would charge for different hours and portions of the episodes, but now it's free to consume, but it's not free to produce. So thank you guys for joining with the vision and supporting everybody over at Patreon. If you want to support, you can go to patreon.com/truthseeker and sign up at any level of giving. There's a bunch of cool stuff over there. Even got some new rewards for people giving. I got a new t-shirt we just designed over there. You get access to all of my music, the full discography, unreleased tracks, and some really cool stuff. So every time I drop something new, it's available over at patreon.com/truthseeker. Thank you guys, really, from the bottom of my heart, for supporting, and it's growing. It's awesome. I got a message in my inbox the other day from a young lady who was talking to me about her belief systems, and her mom is really traditional Christian, and she and the daughter would not question God, but question the mainstream beliefs from the church, and she had her own questions, and her mom would like get onto her for asking questions, and tell her, you're making room for the devil to come in asking questions, and you shouldn't question God, and it sets you up. And there's this crazy notion in the church of people who discourage you from asking questions, and see, that's a place of beauty of asking questions, because we're not going to get the answers unless we ask the questions. So she asked me to tackle a subject, and I'm going to do it very soon. She wanted to know about the spirit of Jezebel. And so we're going to do a teaching on that, and I'm going to probably just devote a whole podcast episode to that, and we're going to talk about the spirit of Jezebel and what that really means. And we hear that term slung around so much in Christendom about spirits and personas and things like that, and especially the spirit of Jezebel, or people use it as a term for someone who's like promiscuous. You're a Jezebel. Where does that term come from? Many of us hear it in the churches, and we know where it comes from. We know what it means, but there's so many people in the spiritual community who have no idea what that term means. We're going to get into that as well. So keep the comments coming, keep the questions and the encouragement, everything in the inboxes, man. I'm getting flooded in the inboxes. So thank you guys so much that you guys are reaching out and letting me know that the podcast is resonating with you. Tonight, we're going to be speaking with a good friend of mine, Matt Tomley, a.k.a. Watchman. What's going on, my brother? Welcome to the show. What's happening?
Yo, what's up? Shalom. Hey, man, I'm definitely enjoying this evening. I don't know about you. How's your evening going, brother?
Going really good, man. Going good. I see you got that Alabama jersey on. Roll Tide. Y'all had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, it definitely, a hard-fought victory. So, I think that both teams played well, and, Alabama was fortunate to win last night. So.
Yeah. We got a lot to talk about. I don't know where to start, but I was just kind of thinking about where do we start, because we got a new album. Essentially, we got to promote it a little bit and let people know what we've been working on for freaking over 2 years in the making, of working on some of the most beautiful music that I've had a privilege of working on and being a part of. That's coming out this December 1st is the release date. So we got 20 days left until this album drops.
20 days until the album drops. Man, I think that the album is appropriately titled The Ascension, because I just kind of see it as it's just this project is taking maybe 22 months, maybe 24 months, but I think this album, I think 333 was the birthing, but I think this album is the launching pad to really the vision and as far as the creativity and the artistic flair and perspective, where I think our music is going collectively, Watchman's music, as well as, your music, Truth, and, and what we're doing. So I think we're right on. I think it's, it seems like it's been a minute, but it's on time.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that I can say about the music that I've dropped these last 3 albums. It's been weird because I felt like the timing was right. I felt like the world needed it. I felt like it was going to have an impact, and it was like people were waiting on it, and they needed it for their spiritual journey. And obviously, that was the right feeling because it totally, made an impact on people's lives. And so I feel like that was, the last 3 efforts I dropped. You feel that way a little bit about yours too?
I feel like, you're talking about right time, right, or we both hit on right time, right place. I mean, I think 333, in its timing was like, it was really critical. I almost feel like 333 hit right before Aquarius, and then, the age of Aquarius began. And I feel like, Ascension's almost like picking up right after that. So I think that, we are at a critical time, not only that, and then, we see the 33s and 33s, with where you and I are, in this, what I call, like our Mason brothers say, this traveling men, like on our travel through here, through this lifetime, our 33rd trip around the sun, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of synchronicity in it, and what's going on and where we're at.
So to kind of backpedal a little bit, to kind of give some story, because there's a lot of people who really don't know much about you. Our stories are very similar. I think that I went through a lot of things first, and then would share revelation that I was getting over the years, and the Lord just had us joined at the hip for some time. And some of the revelation that I was getting and going through, I would share with you, and then you would do your own research. You would have your own experiences and encounters. And, we've been at this thing for a very long time, and we both started out doing gospel hip hop music. And we've been there since day one, since my first album came out, I helped, produce your album when it dropped and did the artwork and everything for it. Well, when did that drop? The first gospel, album you put out, was that maybe 07, 06?
Brother, I think it was even before that, the first stuff. I think I was first working on music, I think whenever I was 19, years old. So about that time period, or maybe a year or two after that. So maybe that's about right. So about close to that, maybe 05. But yeah, no, definitely. It's, we've been at this for a minute, and going through spiritual, walks and going through the process of, learning, how to be creative. And we've definitely, we did a lot of music, a lot of gospel, music in a lot of places, but I think that our freedom that we found, even in that, and, in the trueness, of Yah, that we, were able to, branch out and do, more stuff and different music that was, very esoteric and very different, in nature, in form, because we actually really studied, we hung on the letter of Yeshua, and how he was in his nature, and he's pretty, and pretty free and, permissible, overall. And I think that led us and allowed us to go, where we went in that, and really where 333 is and where Ascension picks up,
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. Those early days, and it's been a journey. I know it'd be hard to really get into like the depths of everything and all the stuff that we have been through with like even like the holidays and withdrawing from Christmas and Easter and doing the Jewish holy days and trying to follow in the footsteps of Christ and the things that he did, we wanted to do, and we wanted to study that and take it a step further. And if he didn't do it, we didn't want to be a part of it. And that was a big part of our journey, and it played a part for many years. And but here now, like as we tend to be more spiritual and see Christ in everything and see God in everything, we're able to kind of enjoy life a lot more versus being critical and nitpicky about people, about belief systems, and about customs and cultures and things like that. Instead of withstanding and abstaining from everything and hiding away, we're able to kind of be in the culture and enjoy people, you know what I'm saying, no matter their race or creed. Essentially what I think in the Bible, God had to deal with Peter about calling men and things clean and unclean. And they didn't deal with people of other faiths. They wouldn't be around them. They thought that they were unclean and dirty people. And so I think we've had to have that journey as well on our walk. But to take it a step further, we've had some very powerful encounters in the spirit, in the angelic realms, in prayer and fastings and mushrooms, you know what I'm saying, hallucinogens and things like that. Some very powerful encounters. We've been a lot of different places. So spiritually and having these angelic encounters, man, do you have any that you want to talk about that were like some of the day one? And I know we've had so many, it's hard to kind of like pinpoint them all, but was there anything early on that kind of stood out to you that made you know that this stuff was real, you know?
You know, I think that, you know, I think whenever I knew it was real, to really take it all back, I mean, I knew it was real. You know, you're real whenever you see manifestations, and then you got synchronicities, you know, the overwhelming amount of, I guess, things that you see in the universe that are lining up. It's real, but then you really know it's real whenever you start to, and you know, this is like really quickly where we talk about the journey, and you know, I think this is really good, you know, because you know, in the journey always ascending, but you know, we really went to a place where, or I did, and I know you did as well, you know, early in the beginning, where we were talking about basically we started dealing with fighting against dark spirits and dark forces, you know, and things that, you know, basically demons and demonic things in nature and stuff like that, which that's whenever I really knew it was real, whenever I, you know, that saw things and, you know, did things like the Bible said, and I really actually saw people growl, you know, as a result, you know, and just strange things like that took place, you know, very soon after that, and the manifestations that I saw, you know, around me, that was, you know, just like the Bible said. So that's whenever I saw it was real, you know, and, you know, I guess that's when it was, you know, but you refer back to the music in the beginning, you know, that's what our music was a lot about, you know? And that's where Yahweh had us dealing with on our journey at that time. So, you know, I legitimized my statement by saying that's the music that we were doing at the time, because that's where we were, you know, on our journey. But yeah, I think Yahweh had to, you know, maybe take us through that so we could have the liberty and the freedom, you know, to do what we do today. So, you know, everything for its time and its spot.
Yeah, everything for its season. Yeah,
everything for its spot. Yeah.
And when you talk about ascending or going to some heavenly places and things like that, or moving from one level to the next, you have to have a starting point. And when you're going into those realms, or you're dealing with the very exoteric outer levels of spirituality, you usually have to deal with the darkness first. Like, you have to start at those low levels in order to ascend. You got to start at the root chakra. Yeah. You got to start at the base of the trauma, of the sins, and those things that are killing you. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with that. And when you cross over to those realms, whether it be through prayer, meditation, those type of things, you're going to deal with some of the stuff you've been suppressing, whether it's through, like I said, trauma, some childhood hurt, unforgiveness and stuff. You got to deal with that. And when that stuff comes up, it can look grotesque. It can look grotesque, and it can be challenging.
You talk about starting down at the bottom, and I get it, man. You better deal with it down there, because if you deal with it when you're up there at the top, when you get, you know, to dealing with them upper level chakras and get you some golden teachers, you really better deal with it then.
You know what?
you know that. You better deal with it, or you better deal with it early in those teachers. Well, I laugh, but I laugh because I know I make you laugh on that, because you know the truth, and anybody that's gone down the journey knows what I'm saying. You know,
you got to deal with it before it deals with you.
because it's going to deal with you eventually. Yeah. But it's we go from I talk about level 2 and then shoot to level 12, I guess, or whatever, shamanism, and that's where I think we're almost, that's directly where 333 shot into, and you're going to see a lot of that in the Ascension also. The Ascension deals a lot with the shamanism and and things like that. You're going to have to listen, because I think that everything went well with doing a good job of putting everything together artistically, with the lyrics, and it was I guess and done well enough to where it's artistic in nature. So you have to check out the lyrics, but you'll definitely see track by track, and we're going to highlight that, in our next interview, like we were talking about there, showing a little bit of that and how we write our music and how it's inspired.
Mm-hmm. Those angelic encounters, man. So it's really weird because in like coming out of the church realms, like, it's okay to talk about demons. There's a demon behind everything. There's a demon hiding behind every corner. There's a demon attached to every song, which there's a lot of truth to that, right? But it's okay to talk about that. But when we start talking about the angels, then it gets kind of shaky, right? So it's so weird that we, like, in the church realm, we focus more on the demonic and seeing demons and where can we find demons. And I'm a demon hunter. I'm a demon killer. I've got that tattooed on my arm in Kenji Oriental.
I think I think it was scary for us in the beginning, about that, because we thought that, if there was a demon attached to something or associated with it, then it was ultimately horrible. But then, like, I think as we go along in our faith and spirituality, we realize we're like, well, Solomon had control over the angels and demons, and the more and more we learn, the more and more we see in our, third eyes open, we see angels and demons all over the place anyway. And so it becomes less, I think, burdensome and troublesome, and we're not afraid because we see, I guess, the good spirits and the bad, around all situations.
Yeah.
So it doesn't maybe hurt us as much, and it allows us to, maybe delve, jump out into some other areas of learning, and knowledge, and exploring other dimensions and space and things like that, and other thought patterns and paradigms that we wouldn't do before, because we're not afraid of the spirits that are there, because we know how to handle,
Well,
okay.
There's always a healthy fear somewhat, and especially if you come out of some pretty dark stuff, which we did, entering the drug realm or anything like that as a teenager when your mind's developing. I think most of us have that story. It kind of gets into some bad stuff and doing, like, I would talk about doing drugs or even, smoking pot or getting drunk or whatever at an early age, and then breaking into houses and stuff like that. And you're going to have bad spirits around you. And most of us, like, when we come into, like, the church realm, or we come out of the darkness and all the stuff we were dealing with, we don't want nothing to do with it. Like, we want to be on our P's and Q's not to open up any doors to those realms, because some of us barely got out, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, some of us barely got out of that stuff. And to be on the other side and to be able to go back and deal with spirits, deal with spiritism, because we're all dealing with them regardless, right?
But yeah, you're right, brother, and man, I love you, and I love what you're saying. You're right, man. I mean, where we're at now in this moment in time, what you take, some of us, some of us did barely get out, but it almost, it makes me think about Bone, because some of our brothers, some of people I know did not. You know what I mean? Like, they did not get out.
Yeah.
Like, they died. Like, they passed away, of terrible things. Suicides and murders and, and drug deals gone bad.
Yep.
Years, many of those throughout the years, and some gone to prison, and things like that, and so, but luckily some of us did go to the other side, to the other side, and, collectively we've been there, I guess, for long enough that, we do, the Lord does heal us. I guess, the Lord heals us of of the people that we have seen fall, along the way, because we have, so.
Well, you come back with wisdom.
Yeah, no doubt.
You come back with wisdom. You come back with knowledge, and you know how that other side works. And so, therefore, you can almost be like a narc. You know what I'm saying? You coming back as an informant. Okay, hey, this is what's going down. I'm going to show y'all how they operate. I'm telling you, this is what works. This doesn't work. I know y'all think that works, but trust me, it's not working. This is what spirits do. This is what they want,
Isn't that what we do though? Like in our music, isn't that what we do? Like probably bar by bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
no doubt.
In a lot of ways, I think in the Ascension you'll find a lot of that bar by bar. That you'll find a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of. I think I like to cleverly, not only put breadcrumbs down, but sometimes put a chunk down every now and every now and then on what we got going on, because I think that people need to understand, and they need to know, I think people do need to understand some things, maybe and see some things for what it is. Maybe like I was saying, in the age of Aquarius, like where we are right now in the time. I think the Ascension is right on time as far as being relevant spiritually to 2017. Going into 2018, I think the Ascension is very relevant spiritually, right now, and it is on time.
Yeah.
So
definitely some of the tracks that and I've actually I've released 2 of them on my Patreon. Only a few people have heard it, but some of the ones that are on there, and then some of the ones that we have for the pre-order as well that are released, man, are getting a lot of good feedback. We did a video for what was the first one we did? First, I don't forgot the name of the track right off. I can't call it off the top of my head. Spaceships. Spaceship,
yeah,
dude.
Definitely.
And as far as stepping up the video game, as far as our creativity on that end, man, talk a little bit about that video, man. Because I mean, we shot it together, but I did the editing. Talk a little bit about that song and that video that people can go and check out now. I'll put that video in the show notes in the description as well on the website, so you guys can check that too. But talk a little bit about that song and video.
Yeah, no doubt. No, definitely. I just wanted to talk about, the basics like telepathy, geometry, and flying spaceships. No, I mean that just those lyrics right there that you'll find, in the track, just basically lends itself to, I guess, really the freedom and the wildness that the track has to offer, and really talking about the UFO phenomena. I mean, really all around. The track talking about the UFO phenomena, where I was actually having a great time, like enjoying myself writing it. So I was like, because I mean, if you do follow our music and what we talk and the way we speak of, and in scriptures even, where it talks about the UFO phenomena, then no subject is unbreachable. Basically is where I'm at, and for the Ascension and the album, I was the way I wanted to consider it, without no subject would be unbreachable. So I figured that I thought that the single that we should release would be a single about a small child being abducted by a UFO. Really.
Yeah, and somebody who was
really,
supposed to almost definitely, like embody you as as a youngster. In the video as well.
Yeah.
You're talking about having these encounters as a kid. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the song talks about a young son looks up to the constellation with patient observation, stays and prays for spaceships. And we have Carson Cook, definitely in there. The Voice's nephew, starring in the video. And he, and I needed a child, to play an embodiment, of me as a child, because I wrote it from that perspective. And the great thing about the video is that there actually is a UFO in the video. It's huge. It's like sitting there rotating around, and the nice thing about these Grays guys is that they dropped off Carson, and he didn't have no jelly on him. Like, he didn't have to have none of that crap on him. It wouldn't bother him or nothing. He just got up and just walked off. It wasn't like fire in the sky.
Yeah.
With the guy that had the jelly all over him.
We thought about doing it, but it wasn't in the budget, so he didn't.
No, it was definitely in the budget, but I mean, I didn't want that child to have all that crap on him, and walking around, and then I got to talk to, I got to deal, I mean, I've got to explain to Morgan why our child has petroleum jelly all over him. So it didn't work.
He's laying in the field in the fetal position, being dropped off after an abduction. For those of you guys who haven't seen the video, but make sure that you do that. Go check it out. But it's really cool, and we're stepping it up on the videos as well, because many of you guys know that like a lot of the videos are just us performing and us rapping. So we wanted to step it up and start weaving stories within the music and stuff. So we're taking it to the next level, and we're making sure that every song we do, we're getting ready to do videos for every song we do that we're able to do with artists who are available in our area. You know what I'm saying? That definitely comes into play. But even with that, we're going to have visuals for everything. So I know how videos and songs can kind of go viral and get a little wind behind them when they have the visuals and not just an audio upload of the song itself. So that it's definitely going to be in the future with all these songs that we're working on. Talk a little bit about the early days, man, that we would get into the UFO phenomena. We knew a little bit about it coming up as kids and watching movies and having our own experiences, but not looking into it too much. I remember when I called you and I was doing my own research and having my own encounters. And I remember when I first called you and mentioned it to you, and I was kind of nervous, about mentioning it to you. And I told you about the UFOs and the Bible and stuff like that. And then you was like, oh yeah. And you just you picked up the conversation. It wasn't like you were, standoffish or anything. You were like adding to the conversation about the Pleiadians. And I'm like, okay, you've done a little research then. So there was a sense of comfort there as far as taking some of the fam and letting them know what I was studying and some of the stuff that I was seeing in the sky, right? Having these encounters, man. And we had that phone call, and then we would go out and have CE5 contacts where we would go out and watch the stars and ask Yahweh to send us an angel to let us see one. You want to talk a little bit about those early days of going out to the field looking at stars and asking for UFOs?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, first, I want to, I guess, talk about, where your comment about, you call me, we want to talk about, I guess, UFOs, and or you want to tell me about UFOs, and you may be kind of nervous about it because UFOs is some crazy shit to talk to somebody about, like maybe right
out the blue. You don't go to your boss and say, "Hey man, I gotta ask you something. Man. You ever seen a UFO?"
It could be some crazy shit to talk to somebody. No, seriously, but no, definitely. I'm laughing, but no, I definitely think that, and then this is a phenomena that sometimes information is in the air at the same time, and many people can receive the same information almost in the air as if it's there for them to receive in their mind, through their meditation and whatever. It just almost like the information is somehow over the atmosphere and it is intercepted in the minds of human beings. And it was almost that way with us, and in our exploration of, basically ancient sacred texts in the scriptures, because even maybe I would suggest the Bible, the Torah, Vedas, Upanishads, Quran, and all. Every older considered holy book would have descriptions of UFO encounters in them, and they're ancient, and even artwork from maybe there's artwork, Renaissance art, and there's artwork from Germany, of a hellacious UFO battle that took place over that place, in the Renaissance time period, and it is written about and documented in multiple sources from that time period also.
Yep.
So, I guess it's just where we're at with it, and where it is and where it's going. But, I guess, to follow up, I think that's just even a small part of our music, and where we're going in the ascension and where we're ascending, and what's happening with us, right now with the music. I think that, now it's taken to that level. It's what people are interested in. Well, it's not a coincidence that we are also interested in this music because, man, as the scripture says, the Spirit of God will be poured out on all flesh. And I believe, whether, you be a Christian or not, the scripture's not saying that the Spirit of God will be poured out on all followers of Yeshua. It didn't say that.
Yeah, that was
They said the Spirit of God. They said the Spirit of God will be poured out on all flesh, not the Spirit of God will be poured out on all followers of Yeshua. So I don't think it is a coincidence that we, although we are followers of Yeshua, are also like significantly interested in what followers of all faiths seem to be interested in this time period that we are in currently right now. So I think there's no mistake at all that where we are at, and what we're talking, where we're going. So I think that's where we're at with the album, and where we're at with the reach. I think that the music, from video to video, where we're going from here. Spaceships is the beginning, and we have literally there is a CGI, UFO in the background, and a child that we spared some petroleum jelly, and we've just gotten started. So I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely excited to where we're going.
So what I'm saying, kind of backtracking back to the question, talk a little bit about some of the first times of going outside for hours in order to see UFOs, and what are some of the things that we've encountered or out there?
I think that we have encountered I've seen some pretty significant things as far as looking outside, maybe and seeing a lot, project lights going through the sky, and then all of a sudden taking a huge right 90-degree angle and hitting, I guess, in the night sky in a completely different location. And I remember, some of the most significant, I think that I've seen even was with, you and the voice, when we were in Sylacauga, Alabama.
Yeah.
You referenced the music we've done in years past, and that was where we were at the time. And we did see some pretty neat things, then as well, as far as some 90-degree angle turns and some aerials and things like that, that we've seen. So, definitely, definitely. As far as CE5, I don't know if I'm there yet. That would be great, I guess, to, get to a level to, where we would be able to, manifest some things like that. But, as far as right now, I think that, I've definitely seen, enough evidence. The scripture, definitely refers to angelic beings as creatures that are not terrestrial in nature. So your very belief in the scriptures and that angels exist at all would suggest that you believe in UFOs also. So I'm just aware of something that the Bible suggests to people of their faith every single day that they read their scriptures. So I think that if you believe in angels at all, then you definitely believe that extraterrestrial beings exist, because the Bible clearly states that they are not terrestrial.
Not of this world or of this dimension.
They are not of this world. So if a physical being could come to this earth that was not from this earth, then what would that be? Mm-hmm. So, that's pretty easy.
Sums it up. Yeah, that really sums it up as just angels. And so, but it steps into the whole creative process about what we do when we're able to kind of open up the vocabulary and look into ufology and borrow from the terminology, because it fits, right? The terminology does fit. The whole, Kundalini awakening, the chi energy, like all of these words are like interchangeable for these different spiritual encounters and unexplained phenomena as well. So that's what makes the writing process so awesome now, that it opens it up, that we don't have to say, and because we come out of Christian rap, right? We were doing Christian rap for so long, and I just read this stuff about Lecrae. You know, he's a big Christian rapper, and people are mad that in his new album he doesn't. I don't even know if he says the word Jesus maybe 1 or 2 times or whatever, and they're mad that Eminem is saying Jesus more than him in his new music, right? And it's just like they wanted it. It's got to be in a box. Like you have to say Jesus every song. You have to give like the way of salvation in every song and stuff. And so what we're doing now is a total like 180 from that, you know?
You know, I mean, people want to talk about the way that Lecrae, you know, does his music and the way we do our music, you know, and people will talk about whatever they want to talk about. And what's good is that whenever they're talking about us, they're leaving somebody else alone. But if you want to compare Lecrae's music and the way he talks about Jesus to the way that the Eminem talks about Jesus, then you can just take the wisdom, you know, that comes from the scriptures, say the tree that will be judged by the fruit that it bears. And I think that the fruit that Lecrae bears is much, much better than the fruit that Eminem bears, no doubt. I mean, I do love Eminem's music, and he's very inspirational for me as an artist. But, you know, I think that, you know, as it says, it takes one to know one, you know, as far as us, you know, for people that may be believers, you know, that maybe would be believers in Yeshua, because I certainly am a follower of Christ, and I know you are as well. You know, I definitely know the fruit that a tree bears, and what the way you speak about Christ or not. And I definitely, you know, think that Lecrae's fruit is great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lecrae's fruit is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how I know who's real and who's not, because his fruit is great. Lecrae's music is timeless. Lecrae's music has been going back since 2005, 6. I remember listening to Lecrae's music, and he come out with 6 albums with Reach Records, or 7. I mean, before branching out and going somewhere else. I mean, you can't even fault Lecrae at all. I mean, if you follow Lecrae at all, any of that, then you don't follow music. I mean, you do 7 albums with one record label, or 8. It's time to do something else, probably.
Or even with the terminology, you're talking about 7 or 8 albums, and then wanting him to say Jesus in every song on 7 or 8 albums, or talk about the same stuff, maybe just do it differently. Like that's the weird thing, and I think I'm kind of getting there now, to where like it is a little bit harder to kind of to kind of find ways to say the stuff and not say the same thing over and over again when we're talking about what essentially is our message of spirituality, of ascension, and to be creative with it. It opens it up, but you know, I'm 3 albums in with this type of material, and it is getting a little bit more difficult. Not, you know, there's only so many words you can rap with Kundalini. You know, there's so many times you can say ayahuasca and the Nag Champa, you know what I'm saying, and kind of make this stuff rhyme, you know.
We're just gonna have to get off, man. We'll just have to branch off to Kundalini and talk about, you know, the power of Christ through the, I guess, cultures of maybe the Mayans and the Polynesians.
Gotta
or
do
something.
more studying, and that's essentially right, though, man. Doing even more studying.
Right? What's going on with Easter Island? You know what I mean? We'll study that, man. We got the Easter Island album remix by The Voice, like, but no doubt, for real. With my homie. My homie.
I mean, maybe it may be a good time to throw in The Voice's new album, which is going to be called 33: The Age of Ascension, which is a homage to 333 in your album, The Ascension. It's a mixture between the two. Shout out.
Every album on the track featuring Watchman and Truth.
Yeah. Collaboration album. Hey, everybody listening, if anybody wants to call in, ask Watchman a question, or just chime in on the conversation, you guys can do that. The phone lines are open, and the number's scrolling across the top of the screen. It's also in all the descriptions as well. Give us a call, say hello. I'm gonna go ahead and jump to this caller here who's been waiting for a while. We spoke briefly before we went live. This is Raz, I believe he said his name was. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on, man? You got a question for Watchman, man? Something you can bring to the table?
Hey, what? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Watchman, how you doing, man? I have to admit, this is the first time I've seen your videos tonight, man. I'm like, oh, so as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna educate myself. So, nice job, man.
No doubt, no doubt.
Wicked. Yeah, I was vibing you, man. Listen, yeah, I have a question for the two of you, actually, and for your guests first. I'm really curious about, and I've been hearing this over the years about a lot of the artists back in the day, I guess, that we grew up with, and now they're fighting. I don't know if they're still fighting, but I heard they were fighting for the rights for their music. And I knew someone, and he worked in the music industry, and they said what they were doing was putting hertz frequencies under all of the music to control us, or put us under some kind of mind control, which was really the real reason why they didn't want to give these artists their music back. They Watchman made 100 tracks, and say he gave 60 to Arista, but now he came to the table with 100, but they only used 60. But now, since Watchman left, he can't even touch his music anymore. It's a crime. And now I find out, now this 3 years, that was a part of them covering up all the music and putting all these frequencies in the tracks to mess with us. Do you know anything about that? Have they stopped doing that? Or is our music ours now? Because I know they want to infiltrate everything. Hello?
Well, no, definitely. I mean, I think that may be a little bit of a two-part question, but it's good. I mean, it's a great question. I think that a lot of times, what you may be dealing with as far as an artist leaving, and their music is not theirs anymore, is, some proprietary issues that they may deal with, on that. But, fortunately, I think for us, we don't have anything to worry about as far as proprietary issues, currently at this time. But as far as the frequency that the music is produced in, I think that definitely, there's credence to a conversation there. I will say that 432, True, can correct me if I'm wrong. 432 is the frequency, that music was recorded in previously for many decades.
That's right.
432. Yeah, 432 is a very, I guess, it's a nice sound, and it's a really good frequency to listen to. But you can even currently check music today and go listen to it in 432 versus Truth. What is? You'll have to help me on this one. What is the?
I don't even know the other one.
What is the new frequency that we are using mostly today? There's two of them.
I don't know the exact numbers.
528.
528 is the next one I know.
I think it is 528. Yeah, but you can listen to these in simultaneous or back side by side and listen to them back and forth, and you will hear that the frequency of 528 does sound a lot fuller, and it does sound a lot better, and it's more saturating, and I think that maybe the danger of music, and the power of music, one way or another, because music, originally was, I guess, controlled by Satan, and which was first originally referred to as the morning star, that you'll find in scripture. Maybe, that is something to look at, that 432 may be a frequency that is more, maybe not overwhelming as the 528 frequency is that we're recording today, but still you'll probably find yourself preferring that frequency, the 528 over the old 432, because I've heard many different tracks played in both frequencies, and they do sound much fuller and better, and they're more powerful in the more preferred frequency today. But there is a lot that is a deeper, that is maybe a 2-hour conversation. That can go
you gotta have your stuff down. The 528 and the 432 are both good. Those are both good. It's another one. I want to say it's
at least the 528.
I want to say it's 3 something. I don't know the one that we're in now. the key that's the bad one or whatever. But 528 and 432 are both the positive tones that can fix and repair your DNA. I've done the testing as far as listening and feeling the spiritual vibration from it, and making you feel more relaxed, making you feel happier by listening to even maybe a negative song or something in that concert pitch. But one thing that we do as well is that when we were doing the research on music and the power of music, and we would look at Pythagoras, we'd look how it would reflect back to David in the Bible, how he was a psalmist after God's own heart, and he would sing unto the Lord. And as he would play his music, demons would tremble, and those who were vexed with spirits, particularly King Saul, the spirits would actually subside. And we found that out, man. And the more research we did, we found out that people in the mainstream industry, it was rumored that they were doing like satanic ritual after they were done recording. Like, I don't know if it was the artists themselves or people who were involved with it, but they would do ritual over the music, and they would record stuff in the music as well, like chanting and like curses and stuff like that within the music. And this is rumored. I don't know that it's true. A lot of people believe it, but we did it on the other spectrum. So when we got done recording our music, we would get in the booth and we would say prayers. We would say positive affirmations. We would pray that you know what I'm saying, God would encounter people through our music and change their lives. So as you're listening to it, you're having mantras and positive affirmations spoke over you. The frequencies are there. The tones are there, but it's just turned down so low, but you can't hear it. You can only feel it.
You can feel it, brother. You'll catch it in the script, in the Ascension. I've even said, and whenever I was dropping bars, that these holy tones revoke opponents. So I believe you're definitely, these people do have cult-like rituals, whenever they release albums and things like that. But I do believe that these holy tones that we release and the frequencies that we release revoke opponents. Maybe people are very familiar with Harry Potter, and what's going on with that, and, some magic and things like that. But I believe that the things that we can do, and the frequencies that we release, and the tones that we can put in our music, and the way that we can make people feel, because Truth, you can attest that I told you, all throughout writing the Ascension, I wanted to have some beats that would raise people's frequencies, and that they would be able to feel good about whenever they listen to the music, that they would be able to enjoy the lyrics, but it also would make them feel better, and the frequency would be increased by the instrumentals that we were putting our lyrics to, and how I scoured, and I literally have spent hour upon hour, looking through a lot of very talented producers, music, in order to find exactly what was best to actually put my effort and energy in. Like if I'm going to sit here and write, all these lyrics to this instrumental, that it needs to be something, that is going to be inspiring and raise people's frequency, to a higher level. So it's important all around. And music is so powerful.
Just the music itself without the lyrics. And then we get into the power of spoken word. Then we get into the power of repetition and speaking vibrations and speaking your reality into existence and speaking positive affirmations over people. Just the musical part is one, what you were talking about, this finding these producers who can kind of come on board with what we're trying to do. And they're hard to find. And I think that's why you don't hear as much music from us. Is like most of the time is dealing with producers who actually work with us, and we can get something that it's going to bring something different to the table as well. Just not working with anybody or any type of beat or whatever the case is too. So, but when it goes into putting out the music and speaking these positive affirmations over people, connected together with the tones and the rhythms in itself, putting you into a lulled state, putting you into a trance-like state by just simply listening to the drums and then the spoken word over the drums and the lyrics and things like that. So it really changes the game, and music is so powerful. And I'm looking in the chat right now, and Adam, what's up, brother? Adam says music by origin is magic. Totally. Just want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat room who's holding us down. I see you guys there holding it down. Jeremy Bowman, what's up, brother? Hey, I was trying to get a hold of you, man. I believe you were a $25 patron, and we have the shirts ready to go out, the new design that we just came out with. So if you want to get that shirt, man, inbox me your information so that I can send the shirt over there to you, bro. So yeah, you there, Watchman? Watchtower, you there? It's very weird. I think I see a silhouette of his face. I'm gonna put that on the screen. It looks like a silhouette of his face. He's stuck. I don't know. I don't think he's with us anymore, man. But Raz, man, did you want to add something else to that?
Yeah. I think he hit it off good. What he actually reminded me, I had another question, but I know you got other callers. A fun fact for the music thing, what I found very surprising when I was first getting awakened in 2013. So I was going through this and still kind of in shock, and one of the things that, I guess one of the warnings was you got to get rid of some of your belief systems. And the funny thing I heard was that these astronauts were hearing music, and this was on a couple of missions. They were kept hearing music on the black side of the moon, and that just told me something like, music, like people, I guess it's universal.
Yep.
We are not doing anything new, and there's people on other planets. Not just, and that's the other thing I don't like about the government. They want you to think that there's just creatures out here.
Yeah.
They're people. The people, like, they may have different things, and I'll call them with mad skills. But they're people on other planets. We're not alone. And I think as humans on this planet, we don't have it right. And the ones that, and I think the 95% of us that are really good spiritual beings, and none of us are perfect. But at the end of the day, we're going to help our neighbor. We want to. We get caught up with 8 to 10 to 12 hours of working, and what we used to be able to do in the 90s and the 2000s, we can't do anymore. Now you need 2-3 jobs, and everything's a struggle. So by the time the human is tired and worn out, all he wants to do is relax, and you're forgetting about your Kundalini. You're so tired, and the next thing you know, half your life is gone. And I think we have to come back to, it sounds cliche and cheesy. My grandfather used to tell me, when you get frustrated and you frustrate everything, take 5 to 10 minutes and go back to God. And I'm like, Granddaddy, what does that mean? It means go outside, look up in the sky. He said, what we're doing right now, that's not God. God is earth, life, spirit, and helping your neighbor and cultivating, earth is our home. And I think humans have really forgotten it, and we're fighting with everything. And I think that's what they want us to do. Mm-hmm. We're forgetting who we are. And and I'll have to go, and you got a fan now, man. You got a fan.
Hey, brother, thanks for joining the conversation, brother.
No, definitely.
I can talk to you guys. Man, I posted True Seeker earlier. You guys are the bomb, man.
All right, brother. Shalom.
So I'll be there every night.
Bless.
No, definitely. Yeah. Right on. I think I did a video, even about that, at one point, that, even to reflect on that and expound maybe a little further. Yeah, I mean, the Bible does seem to suggest, if there's other different types of angels, even from other realms that are not terrestrial, then there's other types of creatures out there. So, I think that a lot of the things that we see, the narrative that's being played in the media before us and shoved down our throat, of racism is to even divide us as a species so that we, can't unite and even maybe not only just maybe fight against evil, maybe races of species that could affect us. It seems to be suggested in the scriptures, but to even explore, where we should go, where we should go collectively together, so I think that, that narrative that's being pushed down our throat is being done like that so that it can keep us from going forward, and to really distract us from where we need to be and to where we need to be going. It's interesting to consider that it seems like somehow, it's 2017, and now we have more of a racial, narrative and struggle and divide than we had 10 years ago in 2007. And I don't know how that's possible, other than being force-fed something that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the media, and I don't know the exact, I know Hollywood, and there's some esoteric symbolism about the Holly branch, and the Druids would make their magic wands out of holly trees, and therefore you have Hollywood, the magicians, creating these images, and the catheter tube or cathode ray tube that's inside of the televisions were used to channel spirits in the early days of conception, and now they have those inside TVs, and there's a lot of mysticism and esoteric black magic that goes into Hollywood and what's coming through the television, man. But they control it. If we look at something that I used years ago, just the trends. If they come out with a new style of clothing or a new trend that somebody wants to do. Remember when T.I. started wearing his beanie on the side of his head? T.I. wore a beanie, the rapper, on the side of his head, and then everybody's doing it. Okay? Lil Wayne got dreadlocks, and then every rapper, every dude in the hood had dreadlocks. It got so bad that Sonny from POD, he cut his dreads because of that. Somebody that I look up to and I honor in my spiritual walk, Sonny Sandoval from the band POD, he cut his dreads because it became a fashion statement and everybody started doing it. And whatever they want to push, man, whatever they want to get across, all they got to do is put it on that television, man. And people will follow it hook, line, and sinker, man. It's really like The Walking Dead, man. People are just following trends, and they adaptive to a persona. Many people don't know who they are, and so they're almost like chameleons, and they're able to just adapt to whatever image is in front of them. And if you don't know who you are, then they can tell you who you are. And that's what's so big about what we're doing, is trying to teach people about their identity and the feelings and the emotions, and to be sensitive about who you are, and that it's okay to be original. It's okay to be different, right? You don't have to be just another lemming, just another copycat of somebody else. There's nobody else like you. And that's the message, man, for you to embrace what makes you different and embrace what makes you the same too. Because we're all beautiful. We're all different emanations of one another. We're all connected. We're different emanations of God expressing itself through us. And it's beautiful. So we're separate entities, but yet we're part of the same organism as well. And that's what's so beautiful about what we have going on here with the podcast. We got another caller. I'm gonna jump to this one. This is a caller from Southeast Texas. Hey, who we speaking with? Hello, caller from Southeast Texas. What's going on?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Nigger. I'm just listening in.
Okay. Trolls. The trolls are calling.
Clearly a fan of the music.
He's a fan?
Clearly a fan.
Yeah.
Clearly a fan of the music.
Yeah.
You could tell he is totally involved with the vision.
I'm thinking about using another call-in service that I use to take calls, because
I think he said that we was some niggas because we were saying that, talking about the racial thing, and that that we weren't racially divided, and stuff like that. So our brother from South Texas wanted to kind of expound on that further.
No, it's funny that they do that, because I used to use a different chat room that actually lets them call in, and it would show me their number, and we would just blast their number all over social media and stuff. When they would call in and troll like that, we'd troll them back and just put their number on the stream and tell everybody to call them. And my buddy Drew, he would go on Craigslist and put their numbers on the homosexual call lines, and then so all the homosexuals are calling them and sending them pictures and stuff. And that's not a good thing to do. So I probably should switch back over and just give people a taste of their own medicine when they call in and try to curse or blurt out curse words and stuff like that. But anyway, moving on. It's expected. I used to do it. I still do it. Brother Wayne is still a part of me. You know what I'm saying? So it's awesome. But yeah, man, talk a little bit more. Just go ahead and wrap it up, man. Ascension, what to expect? December the 1st.
No doubt. You know as well as I do. The pedals on the we got the pedals on the metal right now, and the Ascension's dropping on December the 1st. December's dropping. It's dropping December the 1st after Thanksgiving. We're gonna have another album another video dropping with that very soon. We're gonna begin some stuff. Several videos to follow. Each and every track, and the new music that's coming. So the Ascension, it's right here. It's Christmas time. Christmas is coming and holiday season. And it feels like Christmas to me because we got a lot of music coming out. And a lot of stuff that that we've been sitting on for a long time. A lot of really juicy stuff that I think we've been holding back and saving back, just to kind of release for this exact time period. It's been hard to be patient, through this process. It's been hard to be patient not to release, a lot of this, but here comes the avalanche, right? So here we go. The Ascension's coming. Happy holidays.
Whatever holiday you may subscribe to.
Happy holidays.
Subscribe.
Happy holidays. No, seriously. Here we go.
Hanukkah's coming up.
So.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa.
Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa.
Happy Christmas, Kwanzaa. Yeah, there's got to be a couple more in there, but sure. Listen, I guess it's the holiday time. I think the real reason the holidays exist is because of freaking sun. We don't have very much sun, and people get depressed because the sun raises your vitamin D levels and fights depression. So we have to have these holidays so less people, have depression fits and stuff like that. Is what I think. But we also have to make sure that we pay homage to, the solstice, and the old, the ancient gods, and the festival of Lupercalia, and drunken debauchery, and that were celebrated in Rome, and Jesus was made a part of that because Rome was transformed by Constantine into a Christian nation. All right, that's the last.
Getting too deep, man. You can't do that. We're gonna lose listeners, bro.
All right. Get too deep real fast. All right. No, seriously. Here we go. Ascension drops December the 1st, and listen to the music if you want to hear all kinds of crazy tidbits from our mind about crap like that, because we do leave it all in there. So, we'll see y'all. What do you think? Like a week or two, we're going to be, I think in about a week or two, we're going to be going through tracks and kind of going through a little bit of that.
Yeah, one night we're going to go live. Make sure, I don't know if it'll probably be on Facebook most likely, but we may do it on YouTube as well. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to go live and do like a listening party, get a couple people over here and stream his album before it comes out, and see what we can do and kind of get a listening party.
Live listening party.
But you guys can purchase right now if you want to support Watchman and what he's doing. The album is for pre-order right now. Comes out December the 1st. You can go to truthseeker.com, truthseeker.com/Watchman, and you can pick the album up there. It's for sale, so you guys can do that. Support his first release, and trust me, it's going to be well worth it. We got some pretty cool features on there as well. You want to drop some of these names, Matt? Some of the features?
Yeah, normally I don't like name dropping, but we will, I guess, in this instant. Man, we got, definitely, we got Rasul Allah from, which is, pretty much what I consider the headline from Lost Children of Babylon. No doubt. We got, Illuminati Congo featured twice.
Yeah.
Twice. We have Illuminati Congo featured twice. And, he really, wow. I mean, you're in for a treat for that, guys. And you know, we have Gemini. You know, we featured Gemini from Conspirituality, and Gemini really did well also. So, you know, of course, featuring Truth, and you know, we featured Shallow as well, and very talented female singer, you know, for some of our stuff. And last and not least, you know, we featured Aslan, you know, and Aslan did a great job as well.
Gruesome.
And man, there's just, you know, that's what I was going to say, that the album is literally so full that I've got Gruesome at the back end of all of this. And he is also another feature on the album, and he did great. I mean, but Gruesome brought 16 ill bars. So, you know, I think, yes, like he always does. So here's 16 ill bars from Gruesome, Aslan, Rasulullah, Gemini from Conspirituality, Illuminati Congo twice, True Seeker twice, and yours truly, Watchman.
Yeah,
on each and every
great album.
With each and every album of this, you know, track of the album. So we, I'm really excited, you know, about what we have, and you know, I wanted to have a lot of features, you know, on this one because this is the launch track. I mean, the launch album. So
yeah, make sure you guys go purchase that right now wherever you are listening to this. truthseeker.com/Watchman. Link will be in the description, as well as a link to watch the video for Spaceships that we put out. We also did another one for Peculiar People. It's a visual, and that track is out now. That's featuring Watchman and Rasul Allah from LCOB, The Lost Children of Babylon. So make sure y'all check out those tracks. And most of the people are saying, okay, Watchman's found his niche. He's found his stride with this. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, vocally, stylistically, beat-wise, everything that you've brought to the table has just been so different. Everybody wants to know, like, what's some stuff they can hear. Because people, you know, we've been talking about this album for 2 years, you know, on interviews and going live and stuff. And so they wanted to know. So we just plug in, like, you were on 2 of my tracks on 333. The Inner Reaches of Outer Space. And then, you know what's so funny is I always plug that song whenever I do interviews and stuff, and your verse always plays first. And so they're like, we're playing that new True Seeker, and they play your verse first, and they're like, I love that verse, man. So The Inner Reaches of Outer Space and The Imaginatrix were on 333. So if y'all haven't heard Watchmen, go check that out now as well. And that about wraps it up, man. We're going to do it again. We're going to do the listening party here soon. We'll be live when we do that, and you guys can join us then. It'll be awesome.
All right, definitely.
All right, Watcher. I'll talk to you soon, my brother.
All right, see you then.
All right, peace.
Peace.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Watchman Timely, the Timely Watchman. Another great show. I enjoy hanging out, as always, with you guys, everybody holding us down in the chat room. If you guys can see the stream now, I have the chat on side of the stream now. So those of you guys who are watching on the live feed, you can see it on the right. Thanks to everybody holding us down. It means a lot. It makes it a lot more fun, too. Again, so honoring everybody in the chat. Hey, Carolyn, how are you, my friend? She says, shoot, missed it, but we'll catch the whole thing later. Definitely. I will mix down this version and send it out there to the podcast world. And podcast is awesome. The show is growing crazy. Like, my numbers are the numbers are going crazy. Like, a lot of people are listening. A lot of people are sharing, retweeting. I'm honored. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. And I'm honored for you to share this space with me. And you know, we're not alone. Literally and spiritually, we're not alone. So, I I see the comments. Who is that? Raz, man. Yeah, you can call in next show, brother, when we go live next. And I may go live tomorrow. I have to, like I said, I was going to do something on the Jezebel spirit and kind of going into some detail about that. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. So catch us live, man. And you guys are welcome to call in, say hello, share your stories, and talk about what you're doing as well. This is the family. This is the platform. I love sharing it with you guys. So there's a bunch of new t-shirt designs that are released over at truthseeker.com. If you guys want to support the show and wear some fly merch in the midst of that, we got the little Truth Seeker cartoon logo. We got the podcast logo. We got a bunch of different shirts with lyrics on them and stuff like that. Really cool. Thanks everybody for supporting in every way. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the podcast end as well. If you have an iPhone or if you have an Android, click one of those links in the description. Make sure you join us over there on that side as well, because we're going to be uploading some things strictly to that side. And YouTube is squirrely. YouTube can shut me down and not even tell me why, like they did before. And so we got to have some type of backup. So make sure you guys join the mailing list. Everything that I put out there, just click it. Just click it, whatever it is. If it's if it's joining another channel, if it's joining the mailing list or the podcast on the Apple iTunes or whatever, the Android, subscribe, man, because man, it's getting really squirrely. And we talked about that a little bit before we went live too, because there's something's going on, and I don't like to get into the conspiracy stuff too much. I don't like to get into the political side or the doom and gloom. I like to try to be a ray of light in the midst of all that, be a breath of fresh air in the midst of all the conspiracy research and all of the scary stuff, right? But there's something going on as far as censoring certain types of media and certain buzzwords and keywords and things like that. And I may do a show about it. I've got a lot to say about it, and I've been a part of it, and I see it on my back end. Like, they won't let me monetize certain episodes. Not that they listen to the episode, but because of the title has a word in it that they don't like, and a lot of religious stuff that they're demonetizing and throttling Facebook reach for right-wing articles. A lot of crazy stuff, guys. We're going to get into it. With that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. I love each and every one of you guys. Go back and listen to the back catalog if you guys aren't caught up on the newest episodes. We've been working with some magic. The last episode that we did, those numbers blew up really on that one, about manifesting your dreams, the law of attraction, dealing with the power of the spoken word, and the vision boards and stuff. That show went viral as well. So make sure y'all go back and check up on these back episodes. There's some gems in there, man. I've had some really cool people on the show in the past. Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Jordan Maxwell on here twice, Santos, Bonacci twice, some of the bigger names, and the God Warrior, Marguerite Perrin from Louisiana. I had her on here. Man, all of these interesting people, man, and the list is getting bigger and bigger every day. We're adding more shows, adding more content. Some of it's fun, some of it's more laid back, some of it's serious, man. We talk about addiction. We talk about receiving healing from childhood wounds and trauma and things like that. So we're all over the place, but we're trying to make sure that we stay on top of it. And so to really share what's working, if the music's working, we're going to discuss music. If spirituality is working and positive thoughts and positive affirmations working, we're going to share that stuff. So that's all I can give you. That's truth. It works for me, and these steps are proven to work for you too. These positive affirmations are kind of going into the music and some of the info behind the stuff that we're talking about and dealing with. So with that, I'm going to say peace and shalom. Carolyn says, peace. I gave a coworker a ride the other evening and had Truth Seeker music going on in the car. No doubt. Changed their life, man. That's so awesome. Thank you guys so much for the promo. A lot of people want to know how they can support too, because everybody's not able to get on Patreon and support that way of a monthly budget. And like, I can remember when $5 a month seemed like a big commitment, But some people can't. They can't do that, or they're scared to make that commitment. So if you don't have the money to support and you want to support, just continue to click that share button, man. Just continue to tell people about what we're doing here, what we're building. Share the music, because as far as on the end, I don't have a machine behind me. The only machine I have is my computer and this setup, which is pretty dope. But it's a community. I need you guys out there telling people and spreading the word and helping me. So anybody who wants to step up and help me with anything like that, I need help on many different levels. Finding guests, working the back end, writing articles, like all that stuff. I need help. It would free up more time. So with that, again, I'm going to say peace and shalom. I love each and every one of y'all. Peace, peace.
Your will so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the Truth Seeker podcast, head over to truthseeker.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/truthseeker.